Hello everybody, how are you all doing? It's the Midlands Outdoors, back with another short vlog today about some certain parts in the Black Country. Where I'm going is up to the Delph on the Canal and going to have a look at round Oak Steelworks, showing you some very old photos. But I've come back here one more time. I'm going to come and do a full video on this and give you some overlooks of the top of the viaduct. I'm actually in Stourbridge. That is actually the Standbridge Mill Viaduct, which goes all the way across. You can just see it right away in the distance. And the reason why I'm starting my journey here, because I'm going to go and show you some very old photos of round Oak Steelworks. And many years ago, when that factory was operating, the bridge, what you can see behind, would have had freight trains which gone all the way across in the old days. You do still get some trains go across there from time to time, but you rarely see them. But you imagine round Oak actually used this line to transport all the goods there and across, because that line goes all the way through to there to Barley Hill. It would have led right into the round Oak Steelworks, but there's another line which goes somewhere else. It's a very old bridge, and I believe the old structure was next to it. That is actually the newest structure. I don't know around the date when it was actually built, but there is evidence of the old structure where it used to be. There's actually some column supports, brick, and if you're on the number 9 bus and you're going past the Standbridge Mill Viaduct, you can see down onto the fields down to there. That's why I'm going to come back and actually do a proper video on this place. I've got a book with all photographs so we can have a bit of an history talk about that viaduct. But it's just nice to come down and just show it you one more time from the view where I am. Very old. So I will get a chance to show you what's down there. There is something really interesting to show you. But that's Standbridge Mill Viaduct, and just onto the corner here, if we just go all the way across, we have actually got I believe this is the River Stour that comes all the way from Alzoin. So there is the River Stour walk, which I will be covering, so stay tuned for that. There's a lot of history around Barley Hill. It's something to do with a forge. We will get to that a bit later on. But wow, what a day. And it is looking a bit cloudy, so I'm hoping rain does keep off. Well, what a view, the River Stour though, so it's nice just to come down and check this out. And if you've never been to Standbridge, it's a nice little open field where you can come down, bring your dog, just have a nice little stroll. And the River Stour walk begins over there somewhere, so you can actually walk over and it will take you all down that way, so stay tuned for that one. I definitely will come down to it. But yeah, just before we go, this is actually my new electric bike which I bought. Same one, but look how good this is in condition. This is my new Zinc e-bike, and I want to promote this in this video because it is absolutely awesome. I only paid £750 I paid for it. It's really awesome. It gets you from location to location. Improved bell on this one, so you can just see there. And I've actually got 4 bars, and that's actually amazing because I've come all the way from Alzoin, and usually when I have come on a long journey it does knock a bar off. So this is an improved bike, really love it. The tyres are a bit more better and a bit more grippier. But look on Argos, definitely go and buy one of these. I'm going to do another review on it. But yeah, this is really good for the locals if you want to get from location to location. You may have seen in my videos that I've gone from various areas using an electric bike, and this really does the job for my YouTube filming. So I really want to give a big heads up for the company who make these bikes. They are amazing. So go and check out on Argos the Zinc e-bike. Drop a link in the description so you can go and check them out, and definitely have a look in the summer because they do go to a low price of £500. And from my opinion, they are definitely worth buying, so stay tuned for those. And if you want a good e-bike to start off with, definitely go for the Zinc. Right, next location. It's one of the shows before we get to where the Delph is, because we're going to go across all the Stourbridge Canal. I don't know if you remember this, but I filmed it on a very old channel. If I can find the footage, I will show you. But just right away in front of me is now an housing estate. There used to be a big massive factory unit across there, stretching all the way across. I forgot what that road is over there now because I haven't been down it for quite a while. I've also had an antique sign from Halfpenny Green Airfield where the antique centre is, Jones and Atwood. I've got a sign from a machine, and that factory used to be somewhere over there. You had the Jones and Atwood weighbridge, and that's actually why I wanted to show you that, because once more there is a lot of history down here, and that little sign what I brought is so interesting. I can't believe I got my hands on that, and that was from an antique shop. So it's always worth going around the antique shops because you do get quite a lot of Black Country history from factories lurking within them. But just right away in front, that has really amazed me because that used to be flat land. And you've got the And that's Holloware and Co, the abandoned building onto the corner. That is actually grade listed. I don't even be able to see it. There's actually like that little building there. But I went in there and I've explored it. But it's in really bad condition because someone obviously burnt it down years ago. There used to be some other big factories right at the back. But what's interested me though is how fast they've really built these houses. It doesn't seem like really far ago. And I look back on the date, it was actually 2021 or 2020 when I went over there. So we're talking good quite a few years. Right, I've actually made it to the canal split off where it does go up to the Delph Locks. If you keep going that way, it will take you all the way to the Delph and up to Barley Hill where the waterfront is. And that's actually towards Birmingham, so it will go all the way through to Netherton if you turn that way through Netherton Tunnel and the BCM main line. Got Stourbridge on the left, and that's actually a video what I'm going to be re-updating and covering that because I found some more industry down there what's quite interesting. So we'll be covering a video on that in the summer once more, so it will be a very long walk, so stay tuned for that one. But you imagine really how old this canal really is. I mean, that part there looks old. It is a nice little bit of the canal in Stourbridge, this part, and the old bridges. You tell half the old bridges down here, I'm so old. You can just see that one there, what I'm zooming into. Onto the corner. I mean, there's definitely something that I really do love about the Stourbridge Canal. I mean, everywhere you go down it, even towards the Stourton section, it is blooming with wildlife. And at the moment you can just see all the little birds. It's so relaxing. It's what I really do love, is to see the wildlife as you're going down. And you see how far it does stretch way in front. Can just see a big house, like a little manor just appearing right there in the gap. I've actually never seen that before. It's the first time I've actually noticed that. So I have no idea what that is. A very big manor house in the distance, but you can just see how nice and wide the canal section is onto here. You can just see all the wildlife in the trees. There's quite a lot of birds up there. But this canal just really does interest me, just right away in front. You can just see all the old glasswork buildings just onto the corner. And this is where the Industrial Revolution also began on canal lines, because all the goods were brought up to the glassworks along the canal. But that bridge is just really old in front, Glasshouse Bridge. And you can just see the cone onto the corner, which I'll just will show you. Many of these are actually the old buildings, you can just see there, zooming in. Some in workings just into there being bricked up. So there was loaded goods in and out from parts of here. And there is actually tunnels within the glassworks somewhere, because I did see a post on the internet. And it is really nice to see that they've actually done a lot of work with some of the old buildings just over to there. Over down. I don't know whether some of these are actually new builds, but I don't know if they're offices or part of the glassworks still. But this one here is such a great example of industry along the canal line. You can just see the cone right away at the top. And there's actually another bit underneath where we are. I think this would have been like another factory unit somewhere over here, because underneath me the canal would have gone in. It's actually one of those bridges what they led under and into some industry on this side. But that bit's so interesting, just imagine how old that is. And it is the Red House Glassworks Museum, so you can actually go around there. I've been in at the top, it's really so high up. A lot of old industry, and this is a good example of industry along the canal. And especially when the Industrial Revolution was happening, just imagine how much goods were loaded in and out of this glassworks. But what's so amazing, most of the old stuff is actually still left behind in there. You can just see old ones and a few wheels just poking up right away down the bottom. I might actually go down there some other time and go and check this museum out once more. But it does tell you a lot of interesting information about that. And I mean, the Stourbridge Canal, the Crystal and the Red House Glassworks right there. Some very old photos, as you can just see. I did cover a video on this, so I've got a video somewhere peeking on my channel about the glassworks. But there's an old photo showing you what it would have looked like back in the old days. So you've got Ivy Mills, the Red House Glasscomb, which is right here. So you'd have had various glassworks, and that's actually what Stourbridge was popular for, was the glass industries along there. But yeah, you got Ivy Mills, so there is actually a very old building there. But the photo was, it says there, the Webb family until 1870. This photograph was probably taken in 1910. And you got the Ivy Mills complex, really big building, 1992. And that's so fascinating to see what Stourbridge really did look like, where the glass industry actually was. Very old. So this is interesting. I've just noticed this along the canal line, so I thought you might take this of interest. Notice an old pub just onto the corner, just a bit further from the glassworks. All these old little signs. Some of these are really old antiques. I've seen a few of these in the antique shops. Got one there, Oxo, Lion's Tea. Look how old those are. Coleman's Mustard. Very old signs. Stuff like that does really take of interest to me, because I love my antiques. But it's so cool to see those. And there's the canal line just right away behind down there, where the glass industry actually was. I mean, dereliction just really does take its form. This is an abandoned factory up in Barley Hill. It's been here for so many years. I always wondered what was actually on this land. I mean, there is some really old offices over to here. But wow, check out this. Even coming down, you can just see most places have some really old stuff. And I've just noticed this. Check out this. Wow, it's so cool. Got like a tiger on there. What is this doing in here? PC S826. That is really interesting. No idea what that's doing in there. But check out the scale of this place. It's just absolutely massive. It's a shame kids have graffitied it. But wow, even the ceiling right away at the top. That is so amazing. Even the old doors just onto the corner here. But check out this as I go further down. The shutters. Wow. That is so high up. Didn't expect this place to even be here. It was on Google Maps and I noticed it from the side of the road. There's no gate, you can just literally walk right away inside it. You think a place like this would be secured, but it's just been left here just over many years over time. It's like the Oak Steelworks. I mean, when that became abandoned, it was left. So we can just have a little bit of an explore. Let's go and see what's inside here. Wow, so I'm guessing this is just a toilet block into here. Very old wood. And then the land just further over the back is just completely all derelict, all the way down there. I have no idea what's further down, but you can just see that this place, so I'm guessing it would have extended even further down, but over the years it's just completely all gone, all to this land now. And I think there used to be some really old stuff down onto here, if I can carefully get across. So it's actually a swamp. But there used to be the old buildings, and I did see some very old lights, whether Oak Steelworks actually did extend further down. Let's carefully check it out. You can just even see very old chimney stacks right away in the distance. But wow, how cool is this place? It's carefully gonna have a quick check outside. You just see the scale of this place. It's just absolutely massive up. Absolutely big. But this is what caught my attention. This. Don't know whether you can get inside it. Definitely need a torch for this one. Can get inside and you just see right away there. Smells very derelict. Well, I don't know what's up there, maybe an old TV. I ain't gonna bother going in, but that's interesting to see that. It's absolutely slaughtered. We've had the tap men come in, take a lot of scrap. Quite interesting. So you can just see the site office onto this corner. Really old, you see all the glass in the windows all smashed out. But imagine how much land just really does get taken back. That is just absolutely so cool. Nature's starting to take back of this place. Well, that's the front of it. So let's just get out and I will go and show you something else. Really quite interesting. But yeah, one more pan around. Amazing. Let's get out of here. Oh, Got to show this before we go. The old chain for the shutters. This is actually really work. Look at that, the shutters are actually shutting. And we've got there Dudley factory doors. That's interesting, that's old. All the old wires leading all the way out. So right, something else interesting I found. Just right the way here we've got an old building. That says MH Colley Limited, Blacksmiths and Engineers. Very old house. So imagine how many years that's been there. Proper old black country style, sort of similar to what you would see in the Black Country Museum. If we just roll around the corner, this is interesting. I've noticed this when I come down. All the old style here. You've got the old bit going across. Old fans on the wall. That's interesting. Old blacksmith place. Old buildings. And then you've got this one now, just onto the corner. It's actually for sale. It's been abandoned for years. First point. I'll just show you around the gap. Not going to go in there. You see, look how derelict that looks. That's really bad. It's been slaughtered. All the people have been in, took all the scrap out of it. Slaughtered. They took all the windows out and graffitied over it. It probably sat on fire by the looks of it, because it is really bad in that part. But that's so old. I did see some information on the internet about First Point, and that is actually next to the canal line down onto here. So it is really cool just to see that. So I thought I might have showed you that as we're heading to the Delph Locks. So right, this is the first location where I want to show you the old photos, which I had a look at quite a while ago and compared it to the area, Brettle Lane. You see it is a very narrow bridge going all the way down. Just right away in front would have been some very old industry on that side. I'm guessing the area where the industry was, when you come round, was onto that corner down the bottom where you've got the housing estate, sort of the new housing estate there. There is like a little monument with like something on top of it just down to the bottom. But you can just see this photo is so interesting, seeing the photo there with the old factories. You've got a coal mine wheel and an engine house just peeking right around the left of the photo. That is so cool to see that. And all the other ones, is checking all the way down, it does say there chain and anchor work. It says Samuel Taylor's chain and anchor work, seen on the right foreground just onto the corner. So interesting. And Brettle Lane fire brickworks, and that was actually a major subsidence in November 1903, in which the canal drained and the area flooded. But cool to see the old industry on this little corner, so I thought I might have showed you that, because it does date so old. And you know, most of all the old industry was along the canal line. Quite cool, that one. And then you had this one, which is up by the Delph, where it meets the Stourbridge Canal and the Dudley Canal there, the end-to-end connection. This is a photo there showing you some more works. It's actually a boiler works and another iron works. But on the other side of the canal was a wilderness of collieries and fire clay mines. There was a lot of collieries down by the Delph Locks right away down onto the bottom. And the Delph Locks look so completely different back in the days. And I will go up there and show you what it looked like compared to the photos. It is really so interesting. So there you go, there's two interesting photos what I showed you. And there's actually here south of Brettle Lane station was another extensive brick yard wharf of the Clattershaw Works just onto the corner there. Another very old photo. So right, here's another interesting area, just pan around to show you. Just right away there you can just see another bit of area of the bottom of the Delph here. You've got the Chapel Street where the flats are just right away in the distance. Some more old industry just onto the corner. I've got an old building just right away there. So right, we've made it to the Delph Locks. This is actually where the Stourbridge Canal terminates, up a little bit of a flight up there to the Dudley No. 1 Canal. So you can tell this by the Black Delph Bridge here, Birmingham Canal Navigations, Dudley No. 1 Canal. It's got there 1985 at the bottom, BCN. It's interesting. You see the lock there, the bottom of the Delph Lock onto that corner. Let's go up there and we'll go and check out the first bit of the Delph Locks. So right, here's an old photo for you now, so you can just see the Delph Locks in the old days. I mean, how completely different this looks. I'm actually just checking right away in front, and this was actually where the photograph was about nearly taken. And it's comparing that photograph now, so if I take the photograph off now for you, you can just see by comparing all that was not there in the old days. Zooming right away in, you see trees just further at the back, that was not all there. Even parts of this wasn't there either, just a few old buildings just over the back. So it does say there, I mean, this was a photograph off a postcard showing the Delph Locks looking up the locks towards Mill Street. The 9 locks was originally brought the Dudley Canal down to the Delph, where an end-on junction was made with the Stourbridge Canal in 1779. But what really does interest me about the Delph Locks itself, every time I've come down here, I really do love the views, how you've got those like little weirs going all up the locks right away to the top. So you just see all the water flowing all the way down. It's a really beautiful view that is from the bottom of here. And getting all the way to the top, so we're going to ride all the way up to there, and we're going to make our way to where the side of Barley Hill is onto the corner, and we'll go and show you where the round Oak Steelworks actually used to be. And you've got Level Street, which is somewhere at the back, and there is some really odd photos that I want to show you from. Here we go, here's another photo of the Delph Locks, and this is really odd because the horses are dragging the barges all the way up to the top. As you can just see there, the bridge onto the corner, which is right away at the top up there. We'll show you where that little bends round. So just on the left, you can just see some stables. That is actually these, just onto the corner. You can tell it's stables by the design of it, and now you've got the windows there. I think it's just used for storage today, but these are really grey listed, I think. Been here for so many years. But just imagine when the horses are actually dragging all the boats right away to the top. So yeah, just showing you the photo one more time, and I'll go and show you where the bridge is, where the photo was actually taken. So right, if I just carefully put my bike down, make sure it stays, I will show you where the photo was taken. If we get a bit back a little bit, this is where the photo was taken in the very old days. Compare that old photo to now. You see all these trees, it's amazing to see how far they've really grown up and so tall. All that would not have been there, but what's so interesting is that section what you see on the photo bending from this way, it goes into like a basin. So I'm wondering, was there something over here like old industry many years ago onto this land surrounding the back over here, because that's why there's a basin there, which is so cool. And this bridge, so old, it's making me wonder, with these style bridges, was this actually cast at the House Glassworks, because most of their bridges are in the similar design. So it would be interesting though if that was actually cast at that company. So just right above there, there's another flight of locks, which then goes on to the part where it goes past the waterfront. So we'll go and show you that. But one more view of where that photo was taken. It is cool to compare it and see what it looks like from the old days to now. So here we are on the edge of the steelworks now. Imagine many years ago the steelworks even being here. Right away in front, you can just see the waterfront just appearing. This would have been the beginning of the round Oak Steelworks, just onto the corner. I mean, you can just still see there is the old bridge is still remaining where the factory even was. Just right away in front, there's an old bridge there. I will show you underneath it. I have been on top of it, but that would have gone to the other side workings for the round Oak itself. And just right away down the bottom where this hill is onto the corner is Barley Hill shopping centre. Many years ago, people always wonder what was on top of Barley Hill, and it wasn't actually the round Oak Steelworks, because the round Oak was on the part on this side where we am, the top canal, up towards where Level Street is, and also the waterfront. The very bottom of there, where Barley Hill shopping centre is actually known as Barley Hill Farm, and many of the old generation will always remember what Barley Hill Farm was actually like. So turning around, you can just see what the shopping centre is on right now is actually Barley Hill Farm. It would have been a big open farmland onto that corner. Picture one for you now, so you can just see a photo there of two young children overlooking Barley Hill Farm. You've got the round Oak Steelworks, which was onto the corner there. Two like looking white buildings just stretching right away out. You would have had another building just onto the corner there, as you can see on the photo, and a dip down onto the bottom. But it is a real shame, you know, how industry gets lost over an amount of time, and now it's just a shopping centre. Just imagine when round Oak Steelworks was even here, how big it really did stretch all the way across. So you can just see even St Andrew's Church on the big hill just right away over there, zooming right away in. And the Dudley No. 2 Canal bends round, and there was more industry. There wasn't just the round Oak. You had even more. There was some old factories just down onto the bottom down there, Graysbrook Ironworks. And Graysbrook Ironworks was where the little blue factories are, just right away at the back, just behind there, a big open land. All this here, that was all the round oak stretching all the way across, and the canal was actually rerouted. It isn't actually how the canal would have looked many years ago. I think they did reroute it slightly. The canal would have gone differently all the way around the steelworks itself. And I did find out as well, somewhere over the back, somewhere over that way, is the Pensnet Canal. Pensnet Canal looped all the way around and come where the Parkhead Junction is, just right at the back. There is actually still remains of that from Google Maps, as you can just see. It says Pensnet Canal and a little bit of water and a towpath, but you can't get to it, it's completely blocked off. And most of the old lights that was on round Oak Steelworks, there is actually still some over there. But just before we go, you can just see the old bridge just onto the corner, what would have gone to the other steelwork parts on the factory itself. It's really cool to see that. And this is actually where the workers would have gone all the way down from the corner here to get down onto Merrill Farm. Just imagine the sigh of relief of the workers when they wanted to get out the steelworks, the clatter on the bang. Imagine it was really busy and very loud within those steelworks itself. So right, this is Level Street where the Round Oak Steelworks was actually situated, so it would have got a big road just right away at the top. But it's interesting to see that some of the land is actually still derelict and not even taken over. See all the fence right away behind at the moment. Some of the old barriers just onto the corner. Panning all the way around, you've even got parts over there. Just imagine when that was all Round Oak Steelworks, you've got Round Oak Rail which is still used over the back over that way. But all this would have been the factories stretching all the way across, going right away to the top of Barley Hill. So I thought I might show you this one, because this is actually where the rail line goes through to the Round Oak Steelworks. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, by the Standbridge Mill Viaduct. But if we just pan around, you see down there all the rail line leading all the way across, and then it paths off into different sections. You can see it's gated off by some new industry further down the bottom. And that is interesting because you would have had the signal box on Level Street as well, somewhere just behind me, or further down the bottom where the signal box was. It's nice just to see that the rail line is actually still there. You've got a new factory at the bottom, I think it's Round Oak Rail. That's actually where the rail line is actually leading into. So you can just see, zooming in one more time, of the old, if I put a photo on now, so you can see the rail line inside Round Oak Steelworks. But right the way in front, that's actually where that would have been situated. Some really old stuff down there, as you can just see. And an old bridge just right away down the bottom. And then I've just noticed that the blue brick pub just onto the corner, all boarded up. It is looking a bit derelict, it's all boarded onto the corner. I think that is a really old pub. I did see a photo of that as well. Might have been called something different ages and ages ago. But what I love about it, zooming in, pan around to show you, it's the old design of it. You've got that shape right away at the top. That's telling me that's dating really old. Some really old lights just onto the corner there, one there, one there, another one there. So it's really nice just to see that. You can just see a lot of the old stuff is really vanishing, but it's nice just to see the rail line into the corner. If we just stroll somewhere right away in front, let's see if the Pensnet Canal is actually still there. So right, just a bit further up, this is the Pensnet Canal. Pensnet Canal run all the way through where that other brick wall section is onto the corner. I'm not sure if you can see down there, you might be able to see a bit more better than me. It's just completely overgrown. Somewhere down the back is where the Pensnet Canal would have run all the way across, around the other side of the Round Oak Steelworks. So you would have had the two canals snaking all the way around past the old factories. Let's go down a side road. I think I've actually found something with the old lights for Round Oak. So right, excuse the wind, it is a little bit windy up here. But what we're approaching now is the back end of Round Oak Steelworks. You can just see, I can see the old Round Oak lights. I'm not sure if you can get to this. It is worth a look to see if we can get down there and just show it you. Just carefully get onto this road. You imagine when Round Oak was even here. I'm guessing some of these factories was not all here when the factory was operating. It was just all the Round Oak itself. I mean, that's old there, that building what I'm just checking out right now. Some more old buildings over to here, but what interests me is just further down in front. Hoping I can show it you. Right, I can just see the Round Oak lights. I mean, you've got some old things there, that looks really old. Pan back round just to show you. You can just see over there, those little old building parts. And another one there. I really do feel like DJ Audit's doing this on the bike. That auditor on YouTube, DJ Audits. I mean, those are some really old parts, and whether those were old factory parts from the Round Oak. Here we go, these are the old lights for Round Oak Steelworks, just right away at the top. And people always wonder if these lights were even still here, and there we are. There's the old lights. And then you've got the Pensneck Canal chasing somewhere around the back. I don't know how far it is, somewhere down there, but that's definitely where the Pensneck Canal runs, at the back of there. But zooming in to show you the lights, there's the old lights, as you can see. It's amazing just to see those are even still there, to be honest. They haven't even taken them all down. I'm just going to check out down the corner here, just watching his no nails. So what this is on the corner, so whether the canal run on this side maybe. I think going down the bottom, I did see on Google Maps that somewhere down it there is actually still water. Oh my god, there is. Let me show you. There's no way. The Pensneck Canal is actually really still here. There we go. Pensneck Canal. I've never actually been down here to check this out. It's got onto here, the Midland Metro, Wednesbury to Barley Hill, so they are coming through to this part then. I don't know if I'll be able to show it yet. But there we go, there's the Pensneck Canal. A lot of people will never get to see that because it is completely all blocked down the bottom. Shame there isn't a way to get down and walk in to show you. What a shame. And it's even old parts. Let me see if I can get into there to show you. Don't think you can. No, this is completely nowhere. I mean, all this is all barbed wire leading round the back. It is a real shame. But one more check out from the bottom. It's a shame I really couldn't show you that. But there's the Pensneck Canal. And what's interesting, check out the old building there. Was that once more part of the Round Oak as well? It's just been left there. Quite interesting. Finally got to see the Pensneck Canal. And it does snake round, the Pensneck Canal does. There is actually some towpath which is actually still there, and there's like a concrete floor a little bit, but you can't get to it. Not many people will see it unless you go on Google Maps. But there you go, I've learnt you something new today, that the old lights for Round Oak are still there. Coming further down the bottom, you can just see these are the part what would lead straight into the Round Oak factories. There we go. And there's the rail line, which is right away on top, and you've got the Dudley number 2 canal down to there. And what's so interesting, once more, check out this old light. That old light which is poking right away over there, zooming in and out. There we go, you can just sort of see that old light sticking out its green onto the corner. I think that's why they blocked that off, to stop people from getting through it, because the rail line runs up there. I think part of it is actually still used. But well, very cool to see that. And the Pensneck Canal. I never knew the Pensneck Canal still existed in certain parts, but there we go, it does. So what's over there, I really don't know, just a odd bit of land. But one more view of the old lights, and we're going to pan back down and go to the waterfront. It's right away there. So how cool was that? It's a bit of a bike ride back round to get to the waterfront. But it's definitely well worth it to see the old Round Oak Steelwork lights, which sometimes you can see from the Dudley Canal just onto here, and sometimes it's further at the back, you can't barely get a better view of it. But there we go, that was that. So I'm back on the waterfront. As you can see, this is all now the modern buildings now on the waterfront site itself. Got the marina, panning all the way around. We've got all these buildings just right away at the back. But just imagine what we're on right now, once more, is the steelworks. So these are all the old photos around Oak. Hope you enjoy these. Found quite a lot on the internet about it, so enjoy. And right, some more interesting stuff just onto the canal line further down. There's an old bridge right away at the top, what would have led into the Viaduct Steelworks. That is so old. That would have been there when the Viaduct Steelworks was operating. On this side here, there would have been some more works right away at the top. Some very old, like iron stuff right away above there, another factory. So you can see quite a lot of industry for the Viaduct stretched further down from the waterfront and down this canal. Then you've got the other part, what I was checking out earlier, just onto the bottom. So at this exact spot, if I pan around, you can just see the old railings up there for Oak Steelworks. The like a blue colour. There would have been a big factory just right away above there. Picture on for you now, so what this corner would have looked like coming back from this side. Here's a photo for you. So you just see the factory, what was right on top of there. I did see an old video, so it's worth you to check it out. I watched it about 3 times, showing my nan, showing my mum. Where the Viaduct used to be. It's called A Black Country Walk with Chris Baines. He walks down the canal, goes up the slope up to here. He goes up to here, and with a bit of rail line, and you had the factory just there, and you could see that these blue things were actually there on his video as he walked all the way up. So it is interesting to still see that there is little bits and remains left of the Viaduct Steelworks. You just got to look in different corners to see it. I mean, where I was at the lights, here's some more of the old bridges which stretched all the way across. No need for them now because that's why I've got rid of them. Got the Viaduct rail which is right out there, and Tata Steel. Don't know if Tata Steel still operates with it, but glad to still see they're using the land for once more, some steel industry still, but in a much more smaller capacity. But yeah, that's basically it for the video today, and you would have had all the land just further around the corner for the Viaduct where the lights was, overlooking where I was, where the back corner, and you can see the lights sticking up. Really interesting. I do love the old industry, and it draws me to the canals to come and check things like this out. Even going up Level Street up Barley Hill, seen quite a lot of old stuff. Never knew the Pensnet Canal really did exist until today, until I finally got to go and see it. But yeah, thank you very much. If you would love to see some more history things and you're new, subscribe, and if you are already watching my videos, hit that like button. I much appreciate it, and it helps me to create more videos by sharing the videos to other people. The like button is most important to my work. But yeah, very enjoyed today. Big ride back home now. Let's go and enjoy the rest of the ride and cross the Dudley number 1 and 2 canal. See you soon.